So this is the video where we explain how to use a web hosting service if you're completely new to web hosting. So technically, if you have never used a web hosting service before, this video will help you to understand what web hosting is, how to get it ready, how to upload files, how to get your website live, and all of that. Okay, so we are going to start from the very big basic thing. So let us assume that you have already purchased a web hosting service from Cenmax. So you have already completed the purchase, you have completed the payment. So what happens next is you will receive this email. It will read like your hosting is ready, and this email will be a little bit longer, as you can see here. So first thing that you have to do is, if you have not registered your domain name along with your hosting, you have to connect your domain name with the hosting. Okay, so what you have to do is like you have to copy this name servers and set these values in your domain's name server field. And this process can vary depending on the domain registration service provider. What you can do is like you can search on Google how to change name servers in GoDaddy. For example, if you have registered in Portbun, you can just say like how to change name servers in a Portbun domain. So like that you can search, and you'll be able to see articles related to that, or even some videos related to that, on how you can change it. One important thing that you have to understand when you are changing the name servers is that after you change the name servers, it might take approximately 24 hours for your domain to start working on the hosting service. Okay, so in this meantime, what will happen is like your change will get being processed, and it needs to deploy globally, right? So that is why it will take 24 hours. After 24 hours, you can start working on your website. Okay, so and another important notice, you should only use the name servers that we have provided. So what happens is like when you have registered your domain name, your domain registration provider will already use a couple or four name servers depending on the register. So you have to remove all their name servers and you have to use only the two values or four values, whatever that you receive in this email. Okay, so you have to just use it. And once you set it up, it will take approximately 24 hours for it to set up. If we scroll down a little bit, we have the info on how you can log into hosting control panel. So currently you already have a Cenmax account, but that is not the hosting control panel. What is hosting control panel? Hosting control panel is the place where you manage your website, manage your hosting service, and all of that. Okay, so that is where the action is. So you have to do everything that you have to do on your website inside the hosting control panel. So if you purchase multiple hosting accounts, you will receive multiple hosting control panel accesses. So you will have to maintain it accordingly. As you can see here, we already have this link. So this is the control panel link. If you click on it, it will take you to the control panel, which is we are using Webuzo here. And you just have to copy the username and the password. Sorry about that. Okay, so you just have to copy this, paste it, and you can just log in here. It will take you inside this control panel. As you can see, our primary domain name is tutorials.cinemax.org, and our IP address is here, home directory, all the information of your hosting account is here. Okay, so this is the hosting control panel where you do everything. In this section, we will see how we can install WordPress in the hosting control panel. So in the top bar, you will be able to see an icon that is WordPress Manager. Click on it. If you click on it, it will take you to the WordPress management interface, and here you will find an option called Install. Once you click on it, it will take you to the installation window, and here we have to specify where we want to install the WordPress. So where do I want the WordPress is I want the WordPress to be present in the main domain itself, not inside a subdirectory. So I'm just removing it. Uh, Remove the WP value that was over here. But in your case, if you want your WordPress to be installed, let's say inside a subfolder, for example like blog or something, you can just add that here so that the WordPress will get installed inside a subdirectory while the main directory stays free, where you can upload whatever that you want to. But in my case, I just want it to be installed in the main directory. And you can also choose the version of the WordPress that you want. It is always recommended to go with the latest one. And currently we are in the quick install method, so it will show us the least number of options, and we can choose from there. And you also have an option to set up your site name. For example, let's say if this is my blog or something, I could just say like, this is the blog, so the site's name would be blog. If my company name is Cenmax, and it is Cenmax blog, so Cenmax blog, so you can provide anything like that. So this is your title and the site description. You can also enable multi-site if you know how to use multi-site, and if you want a multi-site installation, you can check this one. For most users, you don't want it, and you don't have to disable WordPress cron either. And here you have the options for admin user. So whatever the admin credentials that you want, you can provide here, and the admin email address as well. And right below that, there is a couple of options here, and as you can see, uh, we have already selected a couple of plugins for you. And these are some of the plugins that are very useful. For example, SMTP will take care of emailing, and speedy catch is something that takes care of catch management and that sort of thing. And there is also backup option. So what these plugins are provided for free of cost with your web hosting service with Cenmax. However, if you think like you don't want a specific plugin, or if you don't want to make it too large or something like that, you can just deselect whichever the plugin that you don't want to, or you can also select whichever plugin that you would like to have. And once you have selected everything properly, at the bottom of this page we will find this install button. Once you click on it, it will start installing WordPress on your website. Now the installation has been successfully completed, and if I visit this main site, you will be able to see that WordPress has been successfully installed. And there is also this cookie message here, which was because we added a plugin, the cookie message plugin, so it has been added here. Now, how do you access the WordPress administration area? All you have to do is add a slash WP admin to wherever you have installed your WordPress. And this will take you into the admin interface of the WordPress that we have just installed. And you can use the administration username and password that you have created when installing this WordPress website. Now, obviously, there is this onboarding process which gets some sort of design and things set up for you. But if you're using any other theme or plugin like Elementor or Divi or something like that, you could just exit this onboarding process. You don't have to go through this at all. And here you would be able to install plugins, manage your site as usual. So this is how you install WordPress in our web hosting. The process is quite simple, and we also have this one-click installer to help you with this process. So now we will see how we can install free SSL certificate. So SSL certificates are offered free with most of the web hosting services, right? So you will have an option to automatically install your website with SSL certificate. Currently, SSL certificate is not available on our website. So if I go to tutorials.cenmax.org, it is showing me not secure. And if I manually type HTTPS protocol on the address bar and search again, see, you will be able to see this error, right? So your connection is not private, which means SSL certificate is not yet installed. So how do we install SSL certificate? All we have to do is we have to go below, and under this SSL tab you will find an option called automatic SSL. So you just click on this automatic SSL, and it will show a list of domains that have been added to your hosting account. So for now I only have this tutorials.cenmax.org domain. So I'm just going to click install on that domain. So now the process is running in background. We can check the log if we need it. Okay, so I think now the SSL is completely installed properly. So let's just go here and refresh. Now, as you can see, the error message has gone away. And if we click on this icon here, and if we click on this connection is secure, and if you click on the certificate, we will be able to see that the SSL certificate was issued moments ago and is now currently accepted by the browser. So this is how we install SSL certificates, the free SSL certificates in Webuzo. Now we will see how we can change the PHP version. PHP is used by majority of the CMS platforms, and if your CMS does not support the latest one, or if your CMS supports only the latest one, and if you're using a older one, you might have to change it, right? So we are going to see how to change PHP version in this one. So we're just going to drag a little bit down, and you'll be able to see an option called PHP Manager, multi PHP Manager. Click on it. Inside, you will be able to see which domain is using which PHP version. So if you click on this, you will be able to see other versions also. So we have a couple of options here. We can use PHP 5.6, 7.4, and 8.2. So let's say my software only supports 7.4. Okay, so in that case, I will just select 7.4 and click on apply, and it will change the PHP version. So this is how you change the PHP version. Now we will see how we can create subdomain. Subdomain is something that is a domain that uses your main domain. Okay, so for example, if I have tutorials.cinemax.in, I can create another subdomain, and I can call it like store.cinemax.in. So store.tutorials.cinemax.org. It is a subdomain, but we're not going to get into the details of it right now. Subdomain is something that you use your domain to separate it into a different entity. It can be really useful when you have a different sort of script or something, or if you want to separate your website distinctively. So at in those cases, subdomain is really useful. You can also set up the path. By default, public HTML is used for your main domain, and slash store is a folder that we create separately for this subdomain. So technically speaking, this will be a folder inside the main domain. If you don't want it to be a folder inside the main domain, you can just remove public HTML from there, and you can just store it directly, which will completely separate the files of each of your subdomains, but that is completely optional. Okay, so now we are going to add. As you can see, the issue SSL certificate is already clicked, so SSL will automatically get installed to it. If I go and visit store.tutorials.cinemax.org, you can see the default web page is there, so you can change whatever you want to do. Now we will see how we can create a database. So a database, if you don't know already, requires two components. First component is called database, and the second component is database user. Only a database user will be able to access a database and perform functions. So you also have to create a user, you also have to create a database. Now you don't have to do it separately if you use the database wizard option. So what will a database wizard do is you can create a database. Let's say database one is the name of the database that I want to create, and I'm just clicking create. Now the database is created, and it will also ask me to create a user within the wizard itself, so that I don't have to go to multiple options and do the process. So I will just name my user also the same. I will randomly generate the password, create. Now, the third step is adding the user to the database. Okay, so this user database one is a user of database one database. Okay, so that is how it is, and we will give it all the privileges based on your requirements. You can reduce the privileges if you want, but by default, all the privileges are provided for the database user, and we are just going to submit changes. Okay, now this database user has been added to the database. So you would be able to use the password that we have created earlier and configure your script accordingly and connect the database from here. When you're connecting to database, you can use localhost itself because Webuzo supports localhost as hostname. So you don't have to use a separate hostname. But if you want to specifically use a hostname, you can use this one. This is the hostname us101 wbzo .cenmax.org. This is the hostname. If you want, you can use the hostname. If you don't want to use the hostname, localhost will also work perfectly. Now we will see how we can upload files to the hosting server. Uh, Usually, whenever you are creating a website, you will have a ton of files unless you are using WordPress. If you are going to use WordPress, jump to the section where we are installing WordPress. So you don't have to worry about files or databases or anything like that. But for those who have files and want to upload it to the server, this part would be very useful. So, where you should upload your files, you can just drag to the bottom of the page here, and under server utilities you will find an option called file manager. So once you go into file manager, you will be able to see a lot of folders here. Okay, so you will be able to see a lot of folders, and this is the home directory of your hosting account. Okay, now public HTML is the folder which is associated directly with our main page. Okay, main domain. So main domain on our hosting account is tutorials.cenmax.org, and there is this index.html as you can see here, and this index.html is what being served here. So whatever your website files are, if you're uploading for your main domain, you have to upload it inside public HTML folder, not inside another folder, just inside the public HTML folder. Whatever you put it here, it would be available for the public, hence the name public HTML. You can also upload .php file or anything else. Now, if you want to edit, you can, I will just show you, you can also edit here. I will just edit it with a text editor. As you can see, this website is coming soon. This is what we are seeing here. I will just remove it, and let's just say this is a new page. Okay, I'll just save and close. And if I refresh here, the message has updated. This is a new page. So index.html or index.php will be the first page of your website. So hence the name index, and you have to upload that file inside public HTML folder. In this segment, we will see how we can alter the PHP environment. So PHP environment in the sense like if you want to increase the memory limit, if you want to change the environment values, you will have to alter a file called php.ini. So we will see how we can alter the php.ini in this part. So if you scroll down a little bit, you will be able to see configuration tab, and under that you will be able to see php ini editor. So if you click on it, it will ask you which directory that you want to access and edit. Now I want to alter my main domain, that is tutorials.cenmax.org, and once I click on it, all the options have been loaded. Now, as you can see, the memory limit is 64 M, which is not sufficient for most of the websites to perform. So, in order to increase the performance, I'm just going to change this value into 256 MB. Also, I'm going to change post max size into 256 MB. And if you want to change anything else, you can also change it here. So for example, if you want to increase the upload max file size, you can do it here. You can just change it. You can set up the data and the time zone if you want to alter that. If you want to see errors, you can just enable this, and this will show you whatever the error that is happening in your application. By default, you will not be able to see any of the error in production environment, because if the errors are displayed publicly, it would be a security issue, right? Anyone would be able to hack into your server or your application and manipulate it. That is why, by default, display errors is disabled. But if your website is facing any sort of issues, you can just enable this option and it will display all the errors to the user. So that if you're going to be troubleshooting the problem, it would be very helpful for you to enable this setting, go see what the problem is, find the solution, fix it, and then come disable this. Okay, so that is how it is. You should be doing it. For now, I will keep it off, and I will just click on the apply, and all the changes have been updated.